Two. Well, welcome back to BS Radio. There's been a small hiatus from our previous works, but now we're back on top.
Yeah, but unfortunately this time Abel is not able to join us.
Yeah, it's been a very rough week for him. He was surfing. He was surfing down by the coast, and they tell you that there's no danger there, but he messed up his leg pretty bad, so he's taking a break for a bit.
Yeah.
He should be back next week, which is gonna be really nice.
But honestly, these accidents, they're inevitable.
Yeah,
they will happen at some point.
They'll eventually occur. Talking about accidents, did you hear about that crane that fell down in Dubai?
Not specifically the crane, but I did hear about the winds and.
Oh my God, the winds here are insane now.
Well, according to the National, these winds have reached 75 kilometers per hour.
75. Holy crap. That's madness. That's probably around like 50, 55 or something for miles per hour. That's for the few Americans out there, probably one. But yeah, that's insane.
See, but what I found even more interesting, because we live here in the UAE and we notice it's gotten a bit colder.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the UAE's tallest mountain was covered in 10 centimeters of snow.
What the? That makes no sense. How?
It's
how?
Honestly, I
10 centimeters.
never thought I'd hear this.
That is insane. In the desert. Okay, you're telling me in the desert.
In the desert,
10
on a
centimeters.
mountain, 10 centimeters of snow.
Fair enough. I guess anything can happen. Anything can happen. Yeah, that's crazy. But actually, just the other day, I was standing by my window, and just off like the shore, there was this huge wall of sand. Like, cause there's usually sand.
Massive
There's storms,
sandstorm.
all the sand gets kicked up from the desert, brought into the city and stuff, and it was just sitting there. It was really ominous. Like
Seriously?
it was like a wall, probably like 300 feet high of just sand, and it never crossed past the water. There's the royals live like just a stone's throw away from us, and their palaces look gorgeous, but I don't know. Is there something up? Can they control the weather now?
I did hear
Okay.
they did not control the weather, but they did want to start cloud seeding. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I think so. It's like kind of influencing like how many more clouds and stuff.
Exactly, because they do require more rainfall because they do want to increase production in the agricultural sector.
Yeah.
And obviously you need rain and water, and they're thinking about previously, I think in last year sometime, they thought about building a mountain to capture winds and moisture in the air.
A mountain, like you're talking about
A proper
a full-blown mountain.
Full-blown mountain.
How?
I mean, for now it's just been a concept.
Yeah.
But they did hire engineers to look into whether it was possible or not.
That must have been a very odd conversation to have. Just approach an engineering firm, can you make a mountain? What?
Yeah,
Just imagining the shock on someone's face.
What would it take to, build a mountain?
That's insane.
But hey, I mean, if there's one country to be able to finance this, I mean, I hate to say it, but
Yeah, the U.S. That is, God, the amount of crap that's been going on. In 2017, we're a month in, and we have a billionaire who's gone bankrupt like once or twice before, running the country. Who would have thought? It's the American dream. I don't know.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Trevor Noah. I watch his Daily Show videos.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's actually put the Trump presidency time into what it feels like. And he said every day feels like an entire year under Trump's presidency. And every day so much has been going on. There's always something he's always on the news.
Yeah, he's always up to some hijinks or like antics. Oh my God. What was it? There was a big foreign policy he just put out. It was
Muslim ban.
The Muslim ban. Okay, so for those out there that don't know too much about it, I'll just cover a little bit of a brief information on it. It it's basically a hiatus on entry for people of Muslim descent or specific countries such as like Syria and everywhere.
Iran, Iraq, some North African countries like Sudan and Algeria, I think, are involved as well.
Yeah,
But interestingly enough, it's not specifically a Muslim. It's not the Muslim ban,
exactly.
but it's a Muslim ban.
Yeah, it's concentrated on countries that are of high reports for like terror. So that's where I believe that's where it came from. But the unfortunate news is the very popular religion in the majority of those countries is Muslim, adopting that name,
The Muslim
ban.
However, something interesting is what I've stumbled across.
What is it?
The countries which were banned, or okay, now let me phrase this differently. The terrorist attacks, for example, the 9/11 attacks, they were from countries, or the terrorists who did this weren't from the countries which were actually banned.
Really?
Seriously.
Oh, that's a shame. It seems like every day that there's always I want to say hiccup, but this is like a hiccup on a catastrophic like doomsday level. That's I don't know. I feel like he's got to do these crazy things now because he's got these supporters that were extreme right wing neo-Nazi politicalists, and yeah, it's true. That was the majority of his support for a while, and I think that still is. And if you come up in a country and you get all your support from these honestly unforgiving people,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to base your actions on what they desire because they are your main support. And they were the only thing that was really keeping him up and keeping him through the entire election. And I'm not sure if someone was doing it as a goof, but God, how did he win?
Do you believe that? I mean, we know he's not a great, but I'd go as far as to call him a bad person.
Yeah, understandably, yeah.
But do you think a bad person could still possibly be a good president?
I think so. We've had a lot of presidents that we were very iffy about and very, I'd say, partial against, that we've taken not arms, but taken riots against before. But they've turned out to either not be too bad or be reasonably well suited to the presidency. But a big part of being a president is not being capable of going over and doing all these amazing actions and figuring out all this stuff, like the budget cuts and everything. You've got so many politicians that actually run this stuff. I feel like the presidency's now become almost like the Queen in England. They have executive orders and they have the power to change the entire nation at a snap of a finger. However, on the day-to-day basis and the majority of the times, they don't really run anything. So
Yeah,
I don't think we have too much to worry about, but anything can happen. It's a crazy world out there.
But you want to know what I find the scariest?
What do you find the scariest?
Personally, the people he elects to have high positions.
Yeah.
For example, the person he put in charge for the environment of America and possibly, even the world, he doesn't believe in climate change.
Come again?
The person who's meant to take care of the environment doesn't believe in climate change. Just let that sink in for a moment.
There's got to be more to this. They can't just doesn't believe in climate change.
No.
Oh, that is a mess just waiting to happen. That's not good. I don't.
No, but along with this, the person he chose for the Board of Education wasn't able to answer most of her interviews because she just doesn't know what's going on.
Seriously?
She genuinely isn't able to answer questions properly about the education of this country and her plans for it.
I feel like he made a bunch of deals with
honestly,
companies so that he could guarantee that he'd get elected.
because a lot of these people were actually businessmen and businesswomen,
Okay.
and they. I mean, I do also agree with you to think that some deals went on behind the scenes,
There had to be.
because surely a man should be smart enough to put someone into education or the environment or anything really, who knows about what's going on, who knows what they're doing, who knows their job and can do it correctly.
Yeah, so many lives are in their hands, and if they're completely incompetent, like you're saying, that's screwing over the nation. That's screwing over the next generation, which will be controlling that nation.
The U.S. has such a power; it screws over everyone.
That's so true, and a big part about the U.S. economy, which everyone always talks about, it's our tremendous debt.
The nearly
We've got
$20 trillion.
20. I still have no clue how we amounted it.
You know,
Just it's
my economics teachers recently said that some very, very intelligent people have predicted the U.S. economy to crash within the next few years, and they've predicted this since 2008, and look where we are now. It's still up and running.
But like it's only running because I think everyone's so afraid if it doesn't run,
Yeah,
the
everything's
world collapses.
It's generally going to.
That's the last Great Depression we had. That started in the U.S. and it trickled through the entire freaking world. It devastated Europe. Like if this happens on the scale that it's at now, it's 50 times larger than back then. Like the repercussions, catastrophic. It's insane. Well, unfortunately, on that note, I think we're just about out of time. So
I think I'd like to add one more funny thing.
Okay.
Germany's chancellor,
Okay.
Angela Merkel,
Yes.
she had to do something I would never have expected. She had to explain to Trump what the Geneva Convention was.
Okay. So
Explained a person who's the president of the USA what the Geneva Convention was.
yeah, and I think on that note,
On that note, guys,
I say start stockpiling food. Find some nice place that you can live for the rest of your life without anything, because the world this is gonna be a tough time.
you know, I'm actually curious to see if he'll stay president for these 4 years.
Yeah, I love to see a president get impeached because that is very rare. Most presidents will step down before they're impeached, but
It'll be revolutionary, might I say.
that well put. Well, thank you so much. Tune in next week. Hopefully, Abel will be back.
He
He should be back by
He'll
then.
be recovered. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.